Okay, good morning everyone, and welcome to Honda of Canada Manufacturing. My name is Jean-Marc Leclerc, and I'm the President CEO of Honda Canada. Bonjour à tous et bienvenue chez Honda of Canada Manufacturing. Mon nom est Jean-Marc Leclerc, Président et chef de la direction de Honda Canada. I would like to start with a land acknowledgement. In the new town of Tecumseh, we acknowledge that we are on the treaty lands of the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe peoples, specifically the Ojibwe, Chippewa, Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. This land is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We acknowledge that we are all treaty people and accept our responsibility to honor all our relations and move forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect. I'd like to welcome our special guests who will be addressing you this morning. It's a great honor for me to introduce the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, the Honourable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, the Honourable Chrystia Freeland, Deputy Prime Minister of Canada and Minister of Finance, the Honourable François-Philippe Champagne, Minister of Innovation, Science and Economic Development for Canada, the Honourable Vic Fedeli, Ontario Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade, the Honourable Peter Bethlenfalvy, Ontario Minister of Finance, Richard Norcross, Mayor of the town of New Tecumseh, and Japanese Ambassador to Canada, Kenji Yamanouchi. I would also like to welcome the Canadian Ambassador to Japan, Ian McKay, and the Japanese Consul General, Takeshi Matsunaga. It's also a great honor for me to welcome Toshihiro Mibe, our Global President at Honda. And finally, a warm welcome to those here today. Yes, those here today. A warm welcome for you here today and to those who are watching online. Honda Canada Manufacturing is one of the premier automotive manufacturing facilities in the world. For nearly 40 years, our work has been guided by determination, innovation, and relentless drive for excellence. Our success building some of the best vehicles in the world has been driven by the dedicated and passionate associates who come to work at this plant every day. Honda of Canada Manufacturing est reconnu comme l'une des usines de fabrication automobile les plus réputées globalement. Depuis près de 40 ans, notre travail est guidé par la persévérance, l'innovation et une recherche incessante de l'excellence. Notre succès dans la fabrication de véhicules qui sont parmi les meilleurs au monde est dû aux associés dévoués et passionnés qui viennent travailler chaque jour ici, dans cette usine. Today's announcement will speak to an historical investment by an automaker in the Canadian auto industry, one that honors the highly skilled associates who have earned a global reputation for manufacturing excellence and represents Honda's recognition of the long-term attractiveness of the Canadian electric vehicle manufacturing ecosystem. To give you more details about this significant moment for both Honda in Canada and for Canada's electric automotive future, it's my great pleasure to welcome Toshihiro Mibe, Global CEO of Honda.
Good morning. Today is an important day for Honda in Canada, in North America, and around the world. I want to begin by welcoming the Prime Minister of Canada, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, the Premier of Ontario, the Honourable Doug Ford, and other special guests. Thank you for the great support from the national and provincial governments. I also want to welcome everyone who is joining us today. Honda began the business in Canada in 1969. Based on our commitment to build product close to the customer, Honda became the first Japanese automaker to build automobile in Canada in 1986. We began production here with just 350 associates. Based on their effort, we expanded capacity step by step. Honda's already invested more than 6 billion Canadian dollars in our manufacturing and business operations in Canada, with the capacity to make 400,000 vehicles each year. So Honda of Canada Manufacturing plays a key role in North America, our major market. serving as the lead brand for our two best-selling models, Civic and CR-V. Our success in Canada is due to the support of our customers. We are proud of the trust they place in our products. Our skilled HCM associates make these high-quality products for our customers. Our growth to date is also based on our work together with our dealers, our suppliers, and the local communities where we do business. As a result, Honda auto production in Canada now tops 10 million vehicles, with over 5 million in the hand of our customers in Canada. Our achievements demonstrate that Honda has been able to contribute to the further advancement of mobility and people's daily lives, and to grow with people in this community, made possible by the power of dreams, which is the Honda global brand slogan. We believe in the power of dreams, driven by the dreams of each and every Honda associate. We want to continue to be a mobility company that offers the power supporting everyone in Canada to support their own dreams and make their lives more enjoyable. In this way, we can help advance the economy and society of Canada. I am here today to tell you about the new chapter of the power of dreams in Canada. The world is changing rapidly, and we must work toward realizing carbon neutrality to sustain the global environment. Honda is making steady progress toward our goal to make battery electric and fuel cell electric vehicles represent 100% of our vehicle sales by 2040. North America is the largest market for Honda, with the US and Canada at the core. We strive to continue offering attractive products to our customers in North America in the electrified era. As the first step, we positioned our existing Honda Auto plant in the state of Ohio in the US as our EV hub. By retooling these plants and constructing joint venture EV battery plant with LG Energy Solution, we are creating the foundation for our EV production in North America. To meet current demand for electrified vehicles, Honda has already retooled HCM for hybrid electric vehicle production with support from the government of Canada and Ontario. We are currently building CR-V hybrid, and Civic hybrid is scheduled to begin later this spring. To further accelerate our electrification efforts in Canada, Honda will take another major step forward. I am pleased to announce that Honda intends to establish a vertically integrated and comprehensive EV value chain in Canada. This includes all aspects of EV production, from procurement of raw materials, mainly for batteries, to the production of finished EVs. Canada is rich in natural resources and actively promotes use of clean energy. Honda is pursuing what we call Triple Action to Zero, with 3 key targets: net zero CO2 emission by 2050, 100% use of carbon-free energy, and 100% use of sustainable materials. As we aim to conduct our business with zero environmental impact, Canada is a very attractive business environment for Honda. By building an EV value chain centered on batteries, we aim not only to achieve stable procurement of batteries that are highly cost competitive, but also to create new value with low carbon throughout the entire battery life cycle. Honda will build an innovative and environmentally responsible EV plant to begin EV production in 2028. It will have annual capacity for 40,000 EVs. Honda will also build an EV battery plant with annual capacity of 36 gigawatt hours. Both new plants will be located beside our current facility here in Alliston, Ontario. This is expected to increase HCM employment by 1,000, a big addition to the current 4,200 associates. As for key battery materials, Honda will discuss building a cathode material plant in a joint venture with POSCO Future M, and separator plant in a joint venture with Asahi Kasei. Both are to be located in Ontario. In this way, we will establish a stable supply system for EV batteries and make our EVs more cost competitive. We expected our total investment to be 15 billion Canadian dollars. The project and investment will be evaluated in more detail over the next 6 months. When this project is confirmed, Honda is expected to become the first automaker to utilize the EV supply chain investment tax credit in Canada. In the future, Honda will consider building a comprehensive value chain beyond the 4 areas of EVs, EV batteries, cathode material, and separators. With a key toward secondary use and the recycling of batteries, Honda will realize low carbon value creation throughout the battery life cycle. In this way, Honda will establish a highly profitable business foundation and contribute to realizing a carbon neutral society. This plan is built upon the trusting relationship between Honda and the people of Canada, who have supported us for over 55 years. The highly skilled workforce and diverse people of Canada, and the support of the Canadian and Ontario governments that welcomed our project as one of the most advanced concepts in the world. We are confident that Canada has what is needed to build an EV value chain, from key materials to finished EVs. Here in Canada, we are very pleased to begin a new discussion toward achieving this major electrification milestone, which built on our ongoing project in the US. As we move ahead, we look forward to sharing more detail this fall. Finally, I would like to note that the birth date of this great country, July 1st, is also my birthday. I look forward to celebrating Canada Day this summer. And now it is my honor to welcome to Honda of Canada Manufacturing, the Right Honorable Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada. Thank you. Thank you.
おはようございます。皆さん、ありがとうございます。Merci Jean-Marc aussi, et good morning everyone. Welcome to this exciting announcement. This is a historic day with the largest auto investment in Canada's history. Premier Ford, Doug, it's always great to see you again, along with Ministers Fedeli and Bethlenfalvy. I'm happy to be joined by Ministers Freeland, Champagne, and Tassi, as well as MPs from our Auto Caucus, including Francesco, Maninder, Shafkat, Ryan, Tony, James, and Majid. It's also good to see so many other partners and friends, the Ambassador of Japan to Canada, Kanji Yamanouchi, the Ambassador of Canada to Japan, Ian McKay, the Mayor of Tecumseh, Richard Norcross, the Warden of Simcoe County, Basil Clark, and deputy mayors and councillors and everyone who's come together to recognize that this is a very big day for the region, for the province, and for the country. There's a lot of people here today because we don't get to announce good news like this every day, so thank you all for being here all together. But I want to really start with a huge round of applause to all the auto workers here today. Thank you all. Without your work, sans votre travail, vos qualités, votre ambition, vos talents, rien de cela ne serait possible. You know, over the past number of years, when I speak with CEOs like Mibe-san and Jean-Marc from all around the world, I do point out, look, Canada has great natural resources. We have clean energy. We take climate action seriously. We have great access to markets through our more free trade deals than any of our partner countries. We have stable democratic institutions and strong, vibrant communities. Those are all part of the advantages of Canada. But the central part of my pitch, the biggest advantage that Canada has in drawing investments from all around the world are Canadian workers who are the best in the world. Thank you for making our job of bringing in investment so much easier. Because today, Honda is making Canadian automotive history. With this announcement, we will be investing to create Canada's first comprehensive electric vehicle supply chain from start to finish. Aujourd'hui, on annonce que Honda va investir pour créer la première chaîne d'approvisionnement complète de véhicules électriques au Canada. A whole ecosystem will be built with 4 new manufacturing plants in Ontario, including an EV assembly plant, a standalone battery manufacturing plant, and 2 plants for battery components. These investments will create well over 1,000 well-paying manufacturing jobs, as well as many, many construction jobs, and of course, jobs all across Ontario and the country for auto parts suppliers. But this announcement isn't just about creating jobs. It's about securing good jobs and careers for the coming decades and even the coming generations. Les grandes entreprises comme Honda reconnaissent le potentiel du Canada. Mibe-san said it earlier. Honda has set a goal to make EVs represent 100% of vehicle sales by 2040. In Canada, our target is that 100% of all light-duty cars and passenger truck sales be zero emission by 2035. As a great Canadian once said, that is where the puck is going, and that is where we're going to be. Our government gets it, and the workers in communities across the country seeing these jobs for the places like Alliston, Bridgewater, Windsor, Brampton, St. Thomas, Ingersoll, Fort Saskatchewan, Bécancour, McMasterville, Saint-Basile-le-Grand, Maple Ridge, they get it too. We're building the careers of the future. Our economic policies, including our climate policies, are attracting global investors. Nos politiques économiques, y compris nos politiques climatiques, attirent des investisseurs du monde entier. And that underlines what we've always said. Climate policy is economic policy. And with its impact on families and communities around here, it's also social policy. See, we've been building a whole ecosystem. Because of the choices our government has made over the past few years, Canada now ranks first globally in Bloomberg's ranking of lithium-ion battery supply chains. Last year, Canada attracted the highest per capita foreign direct investment in the G7 and the 3rd most foreign direct investment in the world after the US and Brazil. What we are doing here matters to the world and it matters to Canadians. Le Canada est reconnu comme le fournisseur de solutions propres nécessaires pour une économie globale carboneutre. Et on va poursuivre notre travail pour créer encore plus d'emplois qui vont permettre de garder notre économie forte pour les générations à venir. Today is a great day for workers, for Honda, for Ontario, and it's a great day for Canada. So thank you all. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Arigato gozaimasu. Et je suis maintenant très heureux de passer la parole au Premier ministre Ford. Doug, over to you.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Prime Minister. And I'm thrilled to be back here in Alliston along my all-star team, I always say, the architect for Ontario for this deal, my #1 salesperson, Minister Fedeli. Thank you, Vic, for all the great work that you've done on this deal. What a champion. And my Minister of Finance, Minister Bethlenfalvy, I'll call him the Minister of Money because he controls all the money, just like you, Chrystia, same thing. And my great Deputy Premier and Minister of Health, Sylvia Jones, thank you, and the Minister of Environment, Andrea Kanjan. Andrea, thank you, and she doesn't live too far from here. And my great Attorney General, Doug Downey, thank you. And my all-star MPP that represents this riding, Brian Saunderson, to celebrate this historic investment. Thank you for all the work that you've done. I also want to acknowledge the Ambassador Yamamochi. Thank you. Ambassador McKay as well. Thank you. Consul General, I appreciate all the work that you've been doing too. And Mayor Norcross, Mayor has promised me he's going to build these beautiful communities to house the great workers here. So Mayor, thank you very much. Call me by when we're going to start turning the shovel on those homes. And I also want to acknowledge Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Chrystia Freeland. Always good to see you, Chrystia. And Minister Champagne, I'm sure he's your #1 salesperson as well, and your entire team here. This deal is another example of our two governments working together to rebuild our economy, to create better jobs with bigger paychecks, and we're getting it done. So thank you. I also want to thank Jean-Marc and everyone from Honda Canada for hosting us today. And I want to thank all the great team members right here, and we met them along the line at Honda for contributing to Ontario's success. And a big welcome to Mibi-san. Thank you, sir. Thank you for letting us have this opportunity. And Ozawa-san and everyone from Honda Motors. And Takizawa-san as well, and the team from American Honda, and Oe-san, and your team from HDMA. For over a century, the auto sector has been such a huge part of our province's economy. It's been a source of pride for workers and communities from Alliston to Aurora, Oakville to Oshawa, Tecumseh to Thunder Bay, and everything in between, employing hundreds of thousands of people throughout the supply chain. Supporting so many hardworking families, we've been so proud to have Honda as part of our industry, as part of our Team Ontario family since 1969, but the assembly plant since 1986. Thank you. Friends, today's announcement of Honda's estimated $15 billion investment with its joint venture partners will be a game changer for the industry. Once built and operational, Honda's massive new electric vehicle plant and EV battery facility here in Alliston will employ more than 4,200 people and have the production capacity to produce up to 240,000 electric vehicles each and every year. This is absolutely historic. This is historic. It's the largest auto investment in Canadian history. It's a tremendous win for Ontario, for our workers, for all of Canada. Honda's new facilities will strengthen our electric vehicle supply chain, securing and creating thousands of new paying jobs across our province. And I'm pleased to announce that our government is supporting this investment with the direct and indirect incentives in the range of $2.5 billion. My friends, Massive investments like this doesn't happen by accident. Here in Ontario, we're building a homegrown supply chain, connecting some of the largest critical minerals deposits in the entire world. Right here in Ontario, at clean steel manufacturing in Hamilton and Sault Ste. Marie, the automakers and battery manufacturers across the province. The world is taking notice. Earlier this year, Canada surpassed China, as the Prime Minister said, in Bloomberg's global battery supply chain rankings. This is the first time ever China has been unseated from the top spot. And with Honda's new investment announced today, our province has attracted over $43 billion in auto and EV battery investment over the past 3 years alone. Automakers, part suppliers, battery manufacturers from around the world are choosing to call Ontario home. They're doing so because of our competitive business environment and our dependable supply chains. Because of our transportation infrastructure that we're spending over $28 billion on, and access to major North American markets, our skilled workforce, and our world-class colleges and universities that graduate over 70,000 STEM graduates every single year. Companies are investing in Ontario because we have created the environment and the conditions for companies to come here and thrive, prosper, and grow. And when they thrive, prosper, and grow, so do their team members. Since we've taken office close to 6 years ago, we have never, ever raised taxes on businesses or people. In fact, we have reduced the cost of the burden off the backs of the businesses here in Ontario by $8 billion each and every year. Ontario's energy grid is one of the cleanest in the world. We lead the world in the future of nuclear with small modular reactors. And today, because of those advantages, Ontario is the only place in the world that 6 of the largest automakers call home. Because of great companies like Honda, we're leading the world in the electric vehicle revolution. Once again, I want to thank you, Honda, and your tremendous confidence in our province and in our workers. Thank you to everyone joining us today, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Now I'll hand it over to the Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, thank you very much, Premier Doug. You and I spoke last week on Monday and talked about how much we were looking forward to being here for this announcement. And I have to say, what a great day it is for Alliston, for Ontario, and for Canada. It is such a pleasure to be here. I also just want to start, as the Prime Minister did, by recognizing and acknowledging the amazing people who work here. We had a chance to tour the plant a little bit before this announcement, and one person said to me, you know, it's really actually fun to work here. It's like Lego for adults, and at the end of it, you make a car. A lot of people said to me, we're really excited about today because this is for us, but it's also for the next generation. This is jobs for today and for the future. It's security and it's a guarantee. And I could not agree with that more. And, you know, a lot of people contributed to today, but first and foremost, it is the amazing people who work here who do such a great job that Honda has had the confidence in them to make this historic investment in Canada. So congratulations, you are remarkable. This is a historic moment for our country. This is a historic investment that is going to have a generational impact on workers here in Ontario and across Canada, now and for years to come. Nous voulons stimuler le genre de croissance qui sera assurer la prospérité de chaque génération de Canadiennes et de Canadiens. Pour faire cela, le budget que j'ai présenté la semaine dernière redouble d'efforts pour attirer des investissements, augmenter la productivité, encourager l'innovation et créer des emplois valorisants et bien payés. A cornerstone of this effort is our $93 billion suite of investment tax credits. This includes our new electric vehicle supply chain investment tax credit. When we first introduced our investment tax credits, our government said they would give businesses the certainty they needed and the support they needed to make historic generational investments in Canada. Today is proof that our plan is working. Proof that our investment tax credits are delivering for Canada and for Canadian workers. Honda is the first company that is taking advantage of our new EV supply chain investment tax credit. And thanks to this EV supply chain investment tax credit, as well as the Clean Technology Manufacturing Investment Tax Credit, Honda and its partners will benefit from upwards of $2.5 billion in support from the federal government. This is the largest investment Honda has ever made in North America, and we are so proud that it is happening here. We are so proud you have chosen Canada. I want to thank, in particular, Toshihiro Mibe, Manabu Ozawa-san, who worked so hard and so creatively on this project. He often had to have meetings very late into his night or very early in his morning because of the time difference. I am so grateful for the creativity, the passion, the commitment to getting things done from you, Ozawa-san. Thank you very much. I also want to recognize the work of Jean-Marc Leclerc. You have been working for many, many months to unlock this important and historic project. Et bien sûr, je tiens à remercier mon cher collègue, le ministre François-Philippe Champagne, pour le rôle essentiel qu'il a joué dans la réalisation de l'annonce d'aujourd'hui. C'est votre voyage au Japon en 2022 qui a donné le coup de départ à tout cela. Et je sais que le Premier ministre Ford a remercié le ministre Fedeli, mais moi, je dois vous remercier parce que vous êtes une vendeur internationale hors pair et vous savez vendre le Canada mieux que quiconque. Merci François-Philippe. And of course, I do want to take a moment to recognize the role that the policies that our Prime Minister put in place starting in 2015 when he recognized that the economy and the environment go together and that a strong climate plan was the foundation of a strong economic plan. That is the path we have been pursuing since then. You see it in the clean electricity that underpins the investment being made today. You see it in the international recognition of Canada's commitment to climate, which we are seeing drives investment and jobs and growth. Honda has a long history of partnership with Canada as a domestic manufacturer, dating all the way back to its first manufacturing plant in 1986, right here in Alliston. Today's investment is a further testament to Canada's long history of friendship, partnership, and collaboration with Japan. Il n'est pas surprenant que cet investissement soit fait ici et maintenant. Comme le Premier ministre du Canada et le Premier ministre d'Ontario ont souligné, Bloomberg 9 a classé le Canada au premier rang mondial en ce qui trait à ces chaînes d'approvisionnement de batteries pour véhicules électriques. C'est une grande chose, c'est une grande réussite. Canada has everything it takes to be a global leader in the full electric vehicle supply chain. We have the raw materials like aluminum, lithium, steel, and nickel. We have a strong manufacturing base, and most important of all, we have the talented, committed, skilled people who know how to mine those materials, then they know how to transform them into fantastic products, including the amazing cars we see here. And I want to offer you a final proof point. In the first 3 quarters of 2023, Canada attracted the very highest per capita foreign direct investment in the G7. And that was before this announcement. So this is just the beginning. With today's announcement, we are again showing the world that now is the time to make major investments in Canada and to get big projects built here. Je suis tellement fière de vous tous. Et maintenant, je cède la parole à mon cher collègue, mon ami François-Philippe.
For once, I can look tall on cameras, you know, so it's great. Good morning, Alliston. Wow, what a morning to be together, and it's obviously a real delight to be celebrating with you all. D'abord, merci Jean-Marc, merci pour ta détermination et ta passion de faire d'Honda Canada un leader en Amérique du Nord. Alors merci, tu as été avec nous depuis les tout premiers jours dans cette grande réalisation d'aujourd'hui. This is big, folks. This is historic. This is a game changer for the country and for the auto sector. As you've heard from the Prime Minister and the Premier, this is on the largest ever investment in the company's 75 years history. This is the largest auto investment in Canadian history, and it's clear evidence that we have the best auto workers in the world. I don't know about you, but I'm sure I like the sound of that. Now, before I get going, I know, and if there's anyone out there who still doubts about Canada, global leadership position when it comes to EV, well, I hope you're watching the press conference today, because today we're telling the world that Canada is the place to be. But before I get started, let me just start with the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, I want everyone to know, every Canadian watching, every Canadian listening today, that it's really thanks to your vision, to your passion and determination, Prime Minister, to make Canada the green manufacturing hub that we can announce today, that Canada will be a leading manufacturing hub for electric vehicle. And Prime Minister, I want to give you a big round of applause. You inspire us every day. And it's because of you that today we can see that kind of investment, because you saw, probably before many, that by being a green manufacturing hub, we would be leading the industrial revolution. To my friend and dear colleague, Minister Freeland, without you, this would not have happened, literally. And so I want to thank you, and I want to thank you for giving us the means to transform the auto sector in this country for success for generations. So thank you, Minister Freeland. You've been an integral part of what we've been able to achieve today. Premier Ford, what can I say? Every time we're together, it's about jobs, it's about growth, it's about making history and helping Ontarians. I think, Premier, we reached a new high today, I would say. This is another home run that we have, and thanks to you've always been supporting me and Vic and however we're doing, and saying, guys, go for the, reach the star, go higher, and then we follow what you've said, and we keep on going with that. To my dear friend Vic, my tireless partner, you know what? In my job, I go around the world to attract investment, but Vic has already been there or is about to go there everywhere I go. So this is a real testament to our partnership that we've built. We kind of follow each other in about every city. Mibe-san, to you, our greatest respect. And thank you for your vision. And thank you for your passion. And thank you for your personal involvement. Because of your personal involvement, this general investment possible, and you trusted Canadian. You trusted Canadian workers, and you trusted us, and we want to be grateful. I still recall, as my colleague said, my discussion with the chairman of Honda, Chrystia some 2 years ago, in which he told me, and you know, sometimes I speak a lot, he said, I heard you, be patient. I would say this was patience well invested, ladies and gentlemen. 2 years after that, we have now the largest single investment in the history of Honda. To my dear friend, Minister Tassi, to Minister Bethlenfalvy, to Ambassador Yamanochi, and our colleagues from the Auto Caucus and on the Ontario Caucus, thank you for being there with us at every step of the way, because your support has made a huge difference in what we can achieve today for generation. But finally, and more importantly, and it's been said, but I think it's worth repeating, I want to thank the thousands, the generations of Honda workers. A number of them are here today. It's thanks to your excellence. It's thanks to your hard work. It's thanks to your expertise that we can attract historic investment like that. I can assure you, in my discussion with the chairman, the first thing he said, this is our best plan in the world. So today is a testament to your work, and you deserve a big round of applause. This one is for you, because take that in your heart. You made this possible. Well, obviously, it's a great day to be in Alliston today. I don't think it gets any better than that. And even if you want to see a big smile, what $1 billion smile look like, just look at the mayor this morning when I walked in. I said, Mayor, you know, this is going to be transforming generation of people in the region and obviously in the city. As you've heard from the Prime Minister on this decision to establish a complete EV ecosystem here in Canada, including an EV assembly plant and a new standalone EV battery manufacturing facility, is a big win not only for Alliston, it's a big win for Ontario, but it's also a big win for Canadians. It speaks to our country competitiveness, as you've heard from the Deputy Prime Minister. It speaks about the strength of our supply chain, and it represents yet another strong vote of confidence in Canada's auto sector and our future as a global leader in clean technologies. En effet, après Ford, après GM, après Stellantis, après Northvolt et Volkswagen, c'est maintenant au tour de Honda de se tourner vers le Canada pour la fabrication de sa prochaine génération de véhicules. On parle de près de 240 000 véhicules électriques qui seront fabriqués ici, rien de moins, mesdames et messieurs. Ces investissements représentent des opportunités générationnelles alors que la planète tout entière se tourne vers une économie carboneutre et que les investisseurs se tournent vers le Canada. Depuis plus de 100 ans, le secteur canadien de l'automobile est un moteur de croissance économique à travers notre pays, un moteur exceptionnel pour l'innovation et un moteur pour la création de bons emplois qui sont très bien payés. But this is more than just about the auto sector. This is about Canada punching above its weight. This is about Canada leaning and winning on the international stage. This is about our Canadian workers and Canadian talent. Because as we all know, and the Prime Minister said it when he started, at the end of the day, this is all about people. Talent make us win. The auto workers of Honda make us win, and today, it's their big victory. So in closing, ladies and gentlemen, let's seize the moment that we have in front of us. Let's be ambitious, and let's build this EV car of the future right here in Canada. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I have the great pleasure to introduce my partner, the one which I go everywhere around the world and across Canada to make sure that we build the best future for this generation and future generation. Mr. Fedeli, the floor is yours, my friend.
I think, Paul, you know that, eh? That was the worst. I was saying it's the worst job to follow François all the time. Konnichiwa. 75 years ago, Honda Motor Company was incorporated in Japan. A year later, they introduced their first originally designed and engineered car. In 1959, American Honda Motor Company landed in LA at their first overseas facility. In 1986, as you've heard, Honda opened this facility here in Alliston, the very first Japanese auto manufacturing plant in Canada. First car built, the Honda Accord. 2 years later, the start of something beautiful that keeps delivering, building the three-door Honda Civic right here. Then the Acura, followed by new plant for the Odyssey, then the Acura SUV and the Pilot in 2002. Then came your Ridgeline, built exclusively here in Alliston. And then, of course, the CR-V.
The two best-selling Honda vehicles are now built for Canadians by families right here in Alliston. And we are here we're here today with another landmark moment in Honda's legacy. Honda President and CEO Mibe-san, Ozawa-san, Miyamoto-san, President Leclerc, Prime Minister, Premier, Ambassadors, Consuls General, colleagues and friends. Thank you, Honda. Thank you for continuing to put your faith in the people here in Alliston and for continuing to make your investments right here in Ontario. As you've heard from many speakers, we're at a turning point in automotive history as we move from 125 years of combustion engines now to battery electric vehicles. These decisions are not made easily, and they take time. In fact, our first discussion, as you've heard, about EVs was in Tokyo almost 2 years ago. And the one thing we all knew going into this, it was going to be all about relationships. Because Honda already knew Ontario had the exceptional talent. Right here, these exceptional workers in Alliston. They prove that every single day. So thank you to the workers in Alliston. Honda knew that Ontario had the land, the clean energy, the EV ecosystem, the critical minerals. All of those boxes are checked right here in Ontario. But again, it all comes down to people, to those relationships. And I got to tell you, once you make that pivotal move, that moment that happens when you stop working across the table in sales and you start sitting side by side as partners, well, then the deal just becomes easy. But I got to be honest, it doesn't hurt to have Premier Ford, the best closer on the planet, sitting at that same table. To Mibe-san, it was a pleasure working with your team, whether on our many trips to Tokyo or right here in Ontario. They were true professionals and represented Honda in a way that you should be extremely proud of. Ozawa-san, Miyamoto-san, you were great negotiators, and seeing as you were repeat visitors to the Premier's home, I guess that makes us great friends. Jean-Marc, congratulations. You have straddled that line between being a Honda president, wanting the best for your company, and being a proud Canadian and wanting the best for your country. That is not an easy feat, my friend, but you did it in your customary, casual way. So to the people of Alliston, we thank you for doing such a great job for all of these decades. Your pride in producing the finest automobiles made our job so much easier. Thank you, Honda. Our real work starts today. Arigato. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce my wonderful colleague, the man with the money. He's going to give me a lot of hell for that. The man with the money, Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy.
Well, some of you may know me as the unflappable Minister of Finance in Ontario, and I'm here to tell you today I'm flappable. I'm really excited about this, and I got to give another big shout out to the associates and the workers here in Alliston. Let's give them another big round of applause. All right. Thank you, and hello, everyone. I want to begin by thanking Honda and your long-term commitment to Ontario, which we are truly, truly grateful for, as well as Premier Ford and Minister Fedeli, Prime Minister Trudeau, Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister, my counterpart, Minister Freeland, and of course, Minister Champagne, the Tsiga de Shawinigan, as I like to call him. I'm proud to be part, I'm the Tsiga de Saint-Lambert, so we have something in common, we're Tsigas. I'm proud to be part of today's exciting announcement. Boosting the growth of Ontario's end-to-end supply chain for electric vehicles and EV batteries is part of our government's commitment to fostering good-paying jobs, bigger paychecks. Do we like bigger paychecks? Yes. Yeah, we got a few yeses. I think we do. And economic growth across the province. Today's announcement is a strong example of how our plan is working along with our partners in industry and other levels of government. We're attracting business investment and delivering tomorrow's economic success today. Companies are investing to start and grow their businesses right here in Ontario. So this is great news for everyone who calls Ontario their home. It's great for everyone in Canada who calls this great country their home. Ontario will soon be host to the first electric vehicle battery plants in Canada. And the future for these companies and other businesses across Ontario will be powered by the province's clean electricity grid, including nuclear energy and critical minerals from the north, including the Ring of Fire. With our plan, the government is helping to bring back manufacturing jobs to Ontario. L'avenir de ces sociétés et d'autres entreprises partout en Ontario sera alimenté par le réseau d'électricité propre de la province, incluant l'énergie nucléaire et les minéraux critiques du Nord, ainsi que la ceinture du feu. Grâce à son plan, notre gouvernement favorise le retour des emplois dans le secteur manufacturier en Ontario. These investments are crucial drivers of our provincial economy, with manufacturing now accounting for 11.5% of Ontario's total GDP in 2022. And I might note that we are over 1.1 trillion economy as Ontario goes, Canada goes, and we're doing it together. And supported with investments such as today's announcement, the economy is poised for future growth. With our plan as shown in the 2024 budget, we are supporting businesses large and small. And as Premier Ford mentioned, we are enabling an estimated $8 billion in cost savings and support for businesses in Ontario in 2024. And this includes $3.7 billion in savings for Ontario small businesses. Ontario recognizes the importance of critical advanced manufacturing technologies and supply chains in helping companies increase productivity, open new revenue streams, create highly skilled jobs, and enhance global competitiveness. Today is truly an historic milestone in our plan. And folks, we are on the right course in making the province a competitive place to invest and a great place to live and to work. So thank you, merci tout le monde, and I'll now hand it off to the great mayor of Tecumseh, New Tecumseh, Mayor Norcross.
Welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today. The Right Honourable Prime Minister Trudeau, Honourable Premier Ford, Honourable Ministers, President Mibe-san of Honda Motor, and the Ambassador of Japan, we greatly welcome you to the town of New Tecumseh, which is the home of Honda Canada Manufacturing. For 38 years, Honda has been an outstanding community partner. Honda is the corporate citizen that a community dreams about. Their corporate generosity and charitable actions have been enhanced and will enhance and has always enhanced the well-being of our town. With Honda and their dedicated associates, so many of our community initiatives, which include expansions and new equipment to Stevenson Memorial Hospital and also Matthews House Hospice, would never have been possible. We thank you so very much. They've made thank you everybody. They've made a real difference in our lives. They have made our community so much better. They've made donations of vehicles to our local community outreach organizations, which have greatly improved the quality of life of all of our residents. So, with today's announcement, we are excited that Honda continues to invest in our community's future while continuing to showcase New Tecumseh as a global leader in manufacturing. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Right Honourable Prime Minister Trudeau, the Honourable Premier Ford, the Honourable Ministers, President Mibe-san, and all of your associates for the trust you have placed in our community to make this vision a reality. We thank you so very much in trusting us. We will not let you down. Thank you. So I'd like to invite Japanese Ambassador to Canada, Kanji Yamanuchi, to the podium, please.
Good morning. So many important people said many good things, so I do not have much to add. But I'd like to say today, this press conference itself is a testimony that Canada-Japan relations are entering into a new chapter of our history. And this press conference itself is a great, great symbol of our true friendship between our two countries. Then as ambassador of Japan to Canada, when I look around the world, I see the serious reality of the 21st century geopolitics. This is never easy. It's very complicated. It really could be very dangerous. But at the same time, we have to go for a decarbonization, net zero by 2050. If we think these two things, geopolitics and decarbonization, from Japanese point of view, natural answer is Canada. We go to Canada. So if you remember, last September, the Japanese government and Canadian government signed Memorandum of Cooperation of Battery Supply Chain. That is agreement to governments, but today, the agreement leads to the actual action between two countries, by leading Japanese companies, and also province of Ontario, federal government. They share the vision, they share strategy, they share passion, and they trust each other. That's why we have here today. And this is not just about car making. This is about the friendship, and also this is not just about Canada, not about Japan. This is about the world, because this new production will make a big difference in the future. And this will be greatly contributing to the betterment of the world. So once again, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude and respect to all the workers here and all the negotiators, all the government officials and Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister and ministers. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Megwatch. ありがとうございました。
Nous allons maintenant commencer avec la période de questions. We will now start with the question and answer period. First question goes to Global News.
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome everyone from Honda. Prime Minister, if you could, the deals for the subsidies that were used for VW and Stellantis to lure those companies to Ontario have been somewhat criticized, but now you're using tax credit. Is there more cost certainty for taxpayers with that? And do you see tax credits as sort of the pathway, and Premier Ford maybe could answer this as well, the pathway to other companies like, I don't know, Toyota coming to Ontario, which has been rumored?
Over the past number of years, we've made, as a government, deliberate choices to build up the EV and clean manufacturing ecosystem across Ontario, but also across Canada. And in this, Premier Ford has been an outstanding partner, as evidenced by all the success we've had. When the United States brought in the IRA, it was also a response to what Canada had been able to do during the 4 years of an administration in the US that wasn't focused on building advanced manufacturing in the green economy. So the current administration had to catch up and put an awful lot of money on the table to draw in clean investment from around the world. We stood up to match that with production credits and investments that would be delivered when batteries and EVs rolled off the assembly lines, when they're created, because that's what the IRA required us to do. But at the same time, even as we were doing that, we were building up an entire ecosystem around critical minerals, around OEMs, but also around parts suppliers and smaller manufacturers across Ontario and indeed across the country that would make this a smart place for other companies to invest. And from the very beginning, Honda saw the opportunity primarily because of the extraordinary success they've had here at the Alliston plant, the extraordinary success that Honda's decades of being an outstanding business leader here in Canada knew they could build on. So as they came forward, we were able to use the investment tax credits that we've put in place over the past years to make sure that this investment made sense. But again, countries around the world are trying to throw money at different companies to try and draw in investment. And yes, we need to be responsible and competitive with that, but that's not why Honda and other great companies are continuing to choose to invest in Canada. They're coming here because, yes, we have the critical minerals and the natural resources and the clean electricity grid that is so important for advanced manufacturing now and into the future. We have strong, stable democracies with vibrant communities, with strong social safety nets for workers. We have trade deals with the world. We're still the only G7 country with a free trade deal with every other G7 country. Privileged access to the largest market in the world, the United States. But the biggest advantage and the reason Honda is here, the reason companies continue to come and invest in Canada, is because of Canadians themselves. Canadian workers who are ambitious, best educated in the OECD, hardworking, and ready to build, not just for today, but for future generations as well. So yes, as a government, we're making choices to invest, to draw in these important companies that were creating jobs, not just for now or the next few years, but for coming generations. And that's something we're always happy to step up on, particularly in partnership with strong leaders like Premier Ford. Doug, I think you want to add to that?
Thank you. Well, I look at this as a long-term investment, and that goes for all $43 billion that was invested here in Ontario. This is generational investments that their families, their kids may be working here, and we've seen this grow. It's one of the #1 industries and sectors right here in Ontario. But you look at the investment we have, the jobs Honda has trusted us with here, multiplied by 7. So it's roughly any auto job is 7 times the jobs that are being created here, no matter if it's the suppliers that are coming on board or just general areas of the community. And the mayor said it best. Honda is a class act. You know, they support their local hospital, they support other charitable organizations. They're a key pillar in the community, and we just welcome them, and I want to thank them for their investment here.
Hi there, Alan Hale from Queen's Park today. I got a question for the Premier. Mr. Premier, if the courts had done what you'd wanted in 2021 and denied Umar Zamir bail, he would have been in jail while his wife raised a toddler and a newborn by herself for nearly 3 years in a new country. You didn't respect the court's decision when you denounced it on Twitter, but now that we have benefit of hindsight, do you still think that Mr. Zamir should have been kept in jail? And if not, what assurances can you give that the like-minded judges you're appointing won't deny bail to the next Umar Zamir?
Well, thank you for that that comment, but I'll tell you, it's a very sad situation, and the whole situation is sad. And what the information I had at the beginning, first-degree murder, I made my comment. But do you know what I find ironic? You never mentioned Constable Northrop. You never mentioned about his wife Margaret taking care of their 3 kids and going to raise them without a father. That he won't go to their weddings. He won't be able to be with Margaret the rest of her life. Isn't it ironic you haven't mentioned that? Those are my comments. Thank you.
Follow-up? There we go. To turn to something that's going on at the legislature, Sarah Jama is wearing a keffiyeh in the House and has been told to remove it or leave, and she is doing neither. And it's apparently becoming a bit of a boiling situation back at Queen's Park. You've said that you do not support this keffiyeh ban. What do you think should be done?
Well, again, the Speaker runs the legislature. I don't. That was his choice, and he's the one that runs the legislature.
Next question.
Hi, Barbara with iPolitics. My question is for the Prime Minister. As iPolitics reported earlier this week, the CBTU is warning that the under-construction Nexstar battery plant is ramping up its use of foreign workers despite the billions in government support being offered. They want your government to halt the flow of foreign workers to the plant and get Nexstar to the table to sign a new agreement guaranteeing jobs for Canadian tradespeople. So will you take those steps to address the CBTU's concerns? And considering the issues with Nexstar, do you have any assurance from Honda that something similar won't happen here?
Actually, the investments we're making, whether it's with Nexstar or here with Honda, it's all about creating great jobs for Canadian workers, and that's what is actually being delivered. I know the CBTU actually more recently than what you said put a statement on their website saying that they are working closely with Nexstar and Stellantis to make sure that there are good jobs for Canadians, as is part of the commitment that Stellantis and Nexstar have made. We're going to continue to be there, and I'll highlight that of the close to 2,000 workers on the construction in Windsor right now, there's only about 72 of them that are international workers because there's a certain amount of specialized equipment that needs training so Canadians can actually be doing the installing as well. Here in Honda, I know Honda's already working very closely with the CBTU to make sure that the construction of these new facilities is done in the right way and is always putting the emphasis on Canadian workers, because that's why we're here today. It's about, yes, creating green products that Canadians can rely on into the future, but it's primarily about investing in the workers and the communities that they are part of as these plants get built and as they work for generations to come on building the kinds of products that Canada and indeed the world needs more of.
Adrian Gobriel with CTV National News. My question's for anyone who can answer it clearly. When we're looking at the Honda EV battery plant, how many jobs directly in the plant will be created, and how much is the government paying for each of those jobs through the tax credits and the deal that is on the table?
There is a debate ongoing in politics right now, and the Conservative Party of Canada would have us not make this investment today. They stood against our Volkswagen investment in St. Thomas, Ontario. They decried the investment that we made with Stellantis in Windsor, and they continue to be against government stepping up to invest in good jobs of the future. It's a legitimate debate, but I think they're wrong. As the world is turning towards new ways of manufacturing cleaner products, cleaner vehicles, changing the way we build things, changing what we build, countries around the world are competing for investments. And we know that an investment today in Honda, as they build new facilities, new plants that are going to employ 1,000 new workers, that's not just creating jobs, great jobs for 1,000 new people around here. That's contributing to an ecosystem that'll involve parts suppliers. It'll involve communities with vibrant art scenes and strong main streets. It'll involve future generations of Canada building the kinds of solutions the world needs. Yes, there are politicians who sit back and say, no, 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 no. We've got to balance the budget at all costs, even if it means not investing in Canadian workers and investing in the future. Well, I think they're wrong. And that's part of the choice Canadians get to make over the coming year and a half when we get to a federal election. Are we a confident country that invests in ourselves, in our workers, in our future? Or do we sit back and say, okay, we'll let Canadians sort themselves out? I know people here in Alliston, but indeed people right across the country, are incredibly proud of Canada being a world leader in battery manufacturing supply chain. We beat out China for the first time anyone's ever passed in front of that, because Canada is making deliberate investments in the future. So I'm incredibly pleased to be able to be here with a progressive conservative like Doug Ford, who understands that investing in workers, investing in manufacturing, investing in the future of Ontario is how you build a strong economy for today and for the coming decades.
Well, I guess you have two choices. You don't invest, or you have confidence in the people of Ontario and companies like Honda to create jobs. If you're asking me a number, what do you put a price on 28,000 people being employed? Because if you round it off, 4,000, 4,200, 5,000 jobs times 7, there's 28,000 other people that are going to have spin-off jobs, opportunities to grow. Our great STEM graduates, the future of this province, are going to be able to come here, or the other auto investments around the province. Let me tell you something. In the last 5.5 years, we went from the previous government, previous government, chasing jobs out of this province to a tune of 300,000 to over 700,000 people bringing home better and bigger paychecks because of the policies, because of the partnerships that we've had at all three levels of government, municipal, provincial, and federal partners, investing in the future. This is generational. This is decades and decades down the road. What price do you put on that? There is no price you can put on that, because we're investing into the people. The money is staying here in Ontario. It's not going overseas. It's not going down to the U.S. It's staying right here in Ontario for decades and generations to come.
So just to be clear, no one's willing to answer the question specifically. How many jobs are being created, and what is the cost for the government deal?
If you're not going to listen to the answer of it saying 1,000 jobs created, then there's nothing we can do for you.
I just said the spin-off jobs, they said 4,200. I'm sure it's going to even get up probably to 5,000. Multiply that by 7. There's your answer. 28 to 35,000 jobs. Not today, not for tomorrow, but for decades to come.
Next question.
One quick follow-up so we can get to my colleagues behind me. There are auto industry members in the room today who say that the government has told Toyota previously that there is no more money on the table for deals. Now that we're standing here today with Honda, is the government willing to go back and sit with Toyota and make a new deal?
Well, thank you for this question. As you've heard, we've been talking to about all the auto manufacturers in the world. I think the Premier was saying we're one of the few jurisdictions which has all the manufacturers from American, European, and Japanese. As you would expect, we're talking to everyone. With the framework we have put now with the investments, tax credits, and others, we're going to keep engaging. But I just want to come back to what the Premier was saying. When you're looking at the ecosystem, you have to look that Canada soon will be one of the first countries, if not the only one, which would have a complete value chain when it's come to the battery ecosystem and the EV vehicle. I would say to you, sir, we're building not only for this generation, but for future generation. We're going to keep engaging with all the parts suppliers, all the ones who want to contribute, because they understand that Canada is the place now. If you want to build an electric vehicle, if you want to be part of the green manufacturing hub of the world, this is the place to be.
Prochaine question. Bonjour, Yannick Lepage de Radio-Canada. On comprend que c'est une annonce importante aujourd'hui, mais pour les préoccupations des consommateurs, des gens qui veulent acheter un véhicule électrique, les prix sont élevés, l'offre est limitée. Qu'est-ce qui peut changer dans les prochaines années?
Tout d'abord, on reconnaît à quel point c'est important d'appuyer les consommateurs dans des achats pour protéger l'environnement et améliorer leur qualité de vie. C'est pour ça qu'on a mis sur la table des rabais et des remboursements pour les gens qui achètent des véhicules électriques. On comprend que c'est une nouvelle technologie, mais avec nos investissements pour aider les consommateurs, mais aussi avec nos investissements dans l'infrastructure de charge, des bornes de chargement à travers le pays, avec nos encouragements au niveau des nouvelles constructions d'inclure des bornes de chargement, nous sommes en train de créer le contexte dans lequel les Canadiens peuvent choisir d'acheter des véhicules qui seront mieux pour l'environnement et des véhicules qui seront produits ici au Canada.
Et un suivi, il y a beaucoup d'experts qui nous disent que l'extraction minière pour alimenter la production de véhicules n'est pour l'instant pas au rendez-vous. À quoi peut-on s'attendre au niveau de l'extraction minière et qu'est-ce que vous avez à dire aux gens qui craignent que les gouvernements soient appelés à couper les coins ronds au niveau de l'environnement pour accélérer cette production minière-là?
Tout d'abord, on sait très bien que le Canada a les ressources naturelles, les ressources minières, les minéraux critiques dont on a besoin, pas juste au Canada, mais à travers le monde, pour créer un avenir plus vert et plus prospère. Maintenant, une grande partie de cette production de minerais est contrôlée par la Chine. Et donc, on a beaucoup de partenaires à travers le monde qui voudraient avoir un partenaire fiable comme le Canada pour leur chaîne d'approvisionnement, mais aussi qui reconnaissent qu'au Canada, on fait ça de façon responsable par rapport aux travailleurs, on fait ça en partenariat avec les peuples autochtones, on fait ça avec une responsabilité environnementale qui est essentielle. On a une approche beaucoup plus responsable et c'est d'ailleurs ce que le consommateur veut à travers le monde. Alors, oui, nous allons continuer d'investir dans le secteur minier au Canada où on a une expertise extraordinaire, mais on va le faire de façon responsable, en partenariat avec les peuples autochtones, en partenariat avec les syndicats et surtout en partenariat et en protection de l'environnement. C'est comme ça qu'on crée un avenir plus prospère pour tous.
Vous pourriez répéter en anglais, ce serait bien apprécié. Merci.
We know that critical minerals are essential for not just electric vehicles in the future, but for our innovative economies of the future all around the world. Right now, China controls a large part of the critical ingredients necessary into our net zero future. And countries around the world are looking to partners like Canada, strong, reliable partners that aren't just there to trade freely and not put conditions or use politically our economic advantages, as other countries might, as we've seen disruptions in supply chains, but also the fact that Canada does things responsibly, that our mining sector is there to work with, in partnership with Indigenous peoples, that is making sure that labor standards and quality of life is upheld for the people who work in the mines. And, of course, make sure that environmental responsibility is part and parcel of our offering of cleaner products to the world. That's what people want around the world. That's what the consumer wants to know. That's where Canada has an opportunity to step up. And as we step up, absolutely, we're going to continue to ensure that the values that people know of Canada are fully represented in all the products we sell to the world.
Last question.
Thank you. Ilil Musa with CBC News. I've got a question for the Premier. Mining claims staked in Northern Ontario's Ring of Fire area have rose quite a bit in the last year. That region has been seen as being critical for Ontario's growing EV battery industry, but the surrounding First Nations say that they have not been properly consulted. Given today's announcement, where do things stand with those communities?
Well, actually, I'm going to have to disagree. We had great conversations with Aeroland, the chief of Aeroland. We're about that far away from signing a deal to get the first 80 kilometers of road, and we're going to keep working with the First Nations community. We have two First Nations communities doing the EA right past the Aerolands. Martin Falls and Webbequay First Nations have been incredible partners, and they've been working with communities around there. You know, when we bring a road up to the Ring of Fire, it's not just to get the critical minerals, it's about creating opportunities and jobs for those communities. It's about creating healthcare that they can drive in. Right now, these communities fly everything in. And no matter if it's diesel or food or medical supplies, this is going to change your lives. We're going to bring them broadband up there. We're going to be able to have access by road all year round, access by road. It changes people's lives. We're going to make sure that we get electricity up there so they don't have to rely on diesel. That's what we're doing. We're going to change their lives. We're going to work hand in hand with the First Nations communities. They've been an incredible, incredible partner, and we look forward to getting shovels in the ground. Thank you.
Follow-up?
Question is for the Prime Minister. There is some indication that Canadians are not giving you any credit for the policies in the budget. Why do you think that is?
This is not about credit. This is about doing the right thing. This is about making sure that Canada is fair. The reality is for millennials and Gen Z, the economy doesn't seem fair. The opportunities that were there for their parents and grandparents to work hard, be able to save up and buy a home and build a future and a family for themselves just don't seem there for far too many young people, including young people who have great jobs, who work a side hustle, who are doing everything right, but instead of home ownership getting closer to where they are, it's getting further and further away. That's not fair, but it's also not good for the economy. We need our young Canadians, our young families to be optimistic about the future. We need them to be confident about their hard work paying off. That's why we've put forward a budget focused on fairness, asking the most successful to pay a bit more to ensure that younger Canadians, indeed every generation, can see the success that we need for this country. Whether it's massive investments in housing supply, building close to 4 million homes over the coming years. Whether it's moving forward on fairness measures like more childcare spaces, infrastructure that's going to help people get around and see more communities. Growing the economy in meaningful ways by drawing in great careers for the future generations. These are the kinds of things that make a huge difference. And that's the clear choice Canadians are going to be faced with in the next election. Do we invest in a stronger future? Or do we pull back and say, no, government shouldn't be doing any of that? Government should leave the economy to work itself out. Well, what happens then is too many people fall out of the middle class. Trickle down doesn't work. Austerity doesn't work. A government that's there to create programs like dental care for seniors and Canadians who don't have dental coverage. Create pharmacare to make sure that young women can access prescription contraceptives and people can access their diabetes medications to prevent catastrophic consequences. Investments in more childcare spaces. Investments in drawing in global leaders like Honda to build the kind of future we want. These are the choices we're making. It's not about political popularity. It's about doing the right thing to set every generation up for success for the coming decades, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
This concludes today's press conference. Thank you, everyone.